Hey everyone, welcome back to the Wise Mindset Guy podcast, where we dive deep into the ideas that can change your life. I'm Nat Plastino, and today we're tackling something that might shake up the way you see your struggles, your frustrations, and even your biggest annoyances. What if I told you that the things that bother you the most in life, those nagging frustrations, those injustices that you can't stop thinking about, aren't just random annoyances? What if they're actually clues? Clues that point to your purpose, your path, and even your destiny. Stay with me because by the end of this episode, you might just start seeing your problems in a whole new light. Now, frustrations do reveal your calling. Let's start with a simple, powerful idea. The things that bother you in life are not just distractions or inconveniences. They are signals. They are showing you something important about the world, about yourself, and about the unique impact you're meant to have. Think about it. Have you ever noticed how different people get frustrated by different things? One person might be deeply disturbed by injustice, while another can't stand inefficiency. One person might obsess over poor design, while someone else loses sleep over neglected children or environmental issues. Why is that? Because each of us has a built in sensitivity to certain problems. And that sensitivity isn't random. It's connected to who we are, what we care about, and what we're uniquely suited to solve. The very thing that annoys you the most might actually be the thing you're here to fix. Now let's look at some personal stories to better understand when frustration becomes fuel. Let me give you a few real examples. You may have heard about someone named Sarah Blakely. She turned annoyance into a $1 billion idea, not just million, billion. Sarah Blakely is the founder of Spanx. She had a simple frustration. She hated how traditional pantyhose looked under white pants. They rolled up, they were uncomfortable, and they didn't give the smooth look she wanted. Instead of just complaining, she asked, what if there was a better way? That frustration turned into an idea, which turned it into a $1 billion company. What if she had just ignored that annoyance? What if she had just thought, oh, well, that's life? Then she wouldn't have been where she is today. Now, look at someone like Elon Musk, who took the frustration of slow innovation. Elon Musk has built his entire career around frustration. He was annoyed by how slow space exploration was moving, so he started SpaceX. He was frustrated with the lack of progress in electric cars, so he built Tesla. He saw problems, they bothered him deeply, and instead of ignoring them, he tackled them head on. Musk didn't just accept things as they were. He let his frustration drive him to create something better. Look at Nelson Mandela, who turned pain into purpose. Nelson Mandela's life is a perfect example of this. He grew up in a very difficult environment, facing challenges that could have destroyed him. Living in South Africa, where racism was rampant, especially when he went to prison, it really, really put him into a bad situation. But instead of letting that hardship define his negativity, he turned it into a deep desire to give his people a voice. He went on to becoming the leader of South Africa. From great hardship to great leadership, his personal struggles and frustrations became the foundation of his purpose. Your frustrations are actually talking to you. So what does that actually mean for you? It means that when something consistently bothers you, when you can't stop thinking about it, pay attention. It might be more than just a pet peeve. It might be your problem to solve. Here's how you can start turning your problems into your path. Identify what bothers you the most. Ask yourself, what do I complain about the most? What problems do I wish someone else would fix? What frustrates me to the point that I can't stop thinking about it? Be honest with yourself. Sometimes we push these things aside because they feel too big, too overwhelming. But remember, the people who change the world don't start with all the answers. They just start with a deep frustration and a willingness to do something about it. Ask, why does this bother me? Not every annoyance is a calling. Some things are just minor irritations. But if something deeply bothers you on an emotional level, it's worth exploring. For example, if you hate seeing people struggle with mental health, maybe you're meant to be a therapist, a coach, or an advocate. If you get upset about inefficient things that are at work, maybe you're meant to be an innovator or a systems thinker. If you can't stand bad writing or misinformation, which happens quite often in this day and age, maybe you're meant to be a writer, a journalist, or a blogger like me. Take small steps toward a solution. You don't have to solve the whole problem overnight, but you can start. If you're frustrated by a lack of financial literacy, you can start teaching people finances. If you hate seeing animals suffer, volunteer at a shelter. If you think customer service is terrible in your industry, start a business that does it better. Small steps add up, and before you know it, what once felt like a problem becomes a mission. The obstacle. Why people ignore the calling. Now, here's the tricky part. Most people don't follow this path. And do you know why? Solving problems is hard. It's easier to complain than to create. It's easier to vent on social media than to build something real. But here's the truth. Everything great in life, every major innovation, every movement, every life-changing business started because someone was bothered enough to do something. And you can either let your frustrations drain you or let them drive you. Which one will you choose? Now, final thoughts. What is your problem? Think about it. So here's the challenge for you, right? Think about what's bothering you the most in life right now. Instead of just complaining about it, ask yourself, what can I do? Maybe your first step is just researching. Maybe it's talking to someone. Maybe it's writing down in a list of ways you could contribute. But whatever you do, don't ignore it. Because your biggest frustration just might be your biggest opportunity. Thanks for tuning in to the Wise Mindset Guy podcast. If this episode spoke to you at an emotional level, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And as always, keep pushing forward because the world needs problem solvers like you. Until next time, stay curious, stay driven, and stay focused on what matters.